Let's use an example of a town with 2 homes. The town's budget for 2022 is $10,000. The smaller home has a market value of $200,000. The larger home has a market value of $300,000. The assessment ratio for 2022 is 100%. Because of the 100% assessment ratio, the assessed values for the homes are the same as their full market values. That is $200,000 for the small home and $300,000 for the larger home. The total assessed value of all property in the town is $500,000. The tax rate equals the total town budget of $10,000 divided by the total assessment value of $500,000. Thus, the tax rate is $20 per thousand of assessed value. The smaller home has a tax bill of $4,000. The larger home has a tax bill of $6,000. In the following year, the assessor determines that each home has increased in value by 10%. For 2023, the full market value of the smaller home is now $220,000. The full market value for the larger home is now $330,000. The town's budget remains at $10,000 for 2023. The assessor decides to use an assessment ratio of 50% for 2023 instead of the 100% ratio that was used in 2022. Because the assessor is using a 50% assessment ratio for 2023, the assessed value of the smaller home for 2023 is only $110,000, while the assessed value for the larger home for 2023 is only $165,000. The total assessed value of all property in the town is now only $275,000 because the assessor is using a lower ratio of assessment. For 2023, the tax rate is determined by dividing the total town budget of $10,000 by the total town assessed values of $275,000. The lower total assessed value for the town causes the tax rate to increase to $36.36 per thousand. However, the tax bills for each property have not increased because the town did not increase its spending. It is still spending just $10,000 per year, just like it did in 2022. This example shows that decreasing or increasing the assessment ratio will not decrease or increase the tax bills of property owners if the relative value of property stays the same and the assessor makes accurate determinations of full market values. But we know that relative property values don't stay the same. Rather, property appreciates at widely different rates of appreciation across the town. And we know that when assessors use fractional assessment ratios, they don't even bother trying to make full market value determinations. Instead, they merely divide the existing assessment of each property by the inverse of the average increase in the value of all properties. That results in bogus determinations of full market value, which in turn causes properties to be assessed at widely varying assessment ratios. Because real property taxes are required by state law to be based on a uniform percentage of value, it is absolutely imperative that the assessor accurately determine the full market value, whether they're using a 100% assessment ratio or using a 50% assessment ratio. Otherwise, property taxes will not be fairly distributed. As we will see in the next video, When the assessor fails to make accurate full market value determinations for every property every year, the tax burden gets shifted away from the properties that had the greatest percentage increase in value, and it is shifted onto the backs of the owners of the properties that had the lowest increase in value.